Okay, so I had some technical difficulties uh, starting off with, but I think we're going now. I'm not really sure. I'm just kind of here by myself. I'm hoping that some people can join in because I was a little bit late, and then I had problems with it starting, and then I had no picture, then I had no sound. So I don't really know what I have up and going for me now. So we are going to see if a few of the people that I have or that were in here earlier. Mr. Rez, how you doing? Can you hear me? Oh, we got somebody else that joined, so I'm hoping you guys can hear me. All right. Yeah, because at first when I recorded, there was no sound. First there was no picture, then there was no sound. But, what are you going to do? I don't really know what the hell I'm doing, so I'm just having some fun with my friends. Oh, and Real Farm Boy's here too. Speculating since 1983. Aren't we all speculating, though, at this point in time? Even more so than normal. That was just kind of what my point was, that, you know, the, they didn't give us anything, but I'll just get right into it, I guess. I almost went to Good Morning America today. I didn't have a ticket, but I was going to try and see if I could get in the overflow line, and I'm really glad I didn't, because if it was a wasted trip, or even if I was there and sat around for 4 or 5 hours just waiting to see what they showed us, it wasn't anything that wasn't expected or we didn't already know. If we listened to anything um, this weekend about D23. But I was thinking about it, but then someone brought up the point that they already did all the interviews, so there wasn't going to be any of the actors or J.J. Abrams or anybody there. So I decided, you know what? I'll just watch it with everybody else. I don't need to see it 7 seconds before like I did with Solo. But with Solo, I was the only person there for it at Good Morning America for the trailer. I did find one other Star Wars fan, only because he was wearing a Star Wars shirt, but he didn't even know that there was a Solo movie coming out. So, that's where that is. But with our trailer today, I mean, I don't know how to pull it up on my software that I'm using so that we can watch it together, but I am going to pull it up on my tablet, possibly, so we can go through it a little bit better, or without me really missing anything or a big spot. So I'm going to try and do that right here. But yeah, there wasn't anything in the sizzle reel that I was too impressed for. Um, I think because I was able to go to Celebration, what they showed us at Celebration was meant for Star Wars fans, the hardcore fans, or anybody of whatever level. I guess if you go into Celebration, you're probably a kind of a hardcore fan. But you all know what I mean. I'm not here to take away from anyone's fandom, or what they consider being a fan. That's not my job or my right to even. Because who am I? I'm just another Star Wars fan, and we're all in it together. But it seemed like Celebration, everyone that there wasn't one person that was at Celebration that saw the Rise of Skywalker that wasn't stoked completely about everything, if not everything, the majority of it. This teaser seemed to be more of um, to get the general public into it. Um, Not saying that people that are Star Wars fans aren't excited for it or don't deserve to be excited for it. It's just I think what they let go there and what they showed us here are um, different because they're pandering to a different crowd, I guess you could say. Um, I was only there for Solo. The Solo trailer. I did I did a video. It was one of my first videos when I walked out of the studio. Saying that I couldn't believe there was no one here for Solo, and where is everybody? But I guess if there's not going to be any of the actors there, it's not that big of a deal to go sit outside for a couple hours just to see something a couple seconds before everybody else, when you can be sitting in your bed or at work. There's no reason to take the day off, for anything. Um, so, all right, I'm gonna try and pull this up really quick. Let's see. All right, so I guess this would be the second trailer. You know. Oh, this one. Okay. I had to go through about 4 assholes first before I could pull up the right one. And now it's just loading. Oh, it takes about 10 seconds for it to start, but um, okay. Now that you're done looking at the top of my bald head, um, so now I know there was a bunch of people I was at Celebration with that were totally psyched about this teaser little trailer we got. I just think because with like I was saying, with what we had at Celebration and what we have here, the way it just, if I remember correctly, what we had at Celebration was, their little teaser trailer that they gave out. This one starts off with trying to entice anybody that saw or has seen a Star Wars that might not really be too much into this. Kind of covered a little bit of everything because you had the OT, the PT, now this, and oh, I style it well. Plus, I haven't had my hair cut in about 2 months, so I just trim around my ears. Otherwise, I'd look like a hippie. So, yeah, I mean that's all I mean. It didn't take away from my want to see. I'm sipping on some good old fashioned Coca-Cola. If it was about 4 or 5 years ago, that'd probably be a glass full of whiskey with it. There wouldn't be any Coke in there. It would just be a glass full of whiskey. But I've been drinking a little bit over 4 years, maybe. Yeah, a little over 4 years. More whiskey for you. So, let's see. Anything you guys want to tell me about the trailer? And then I'm going to start it. And we can kind of, I don't know if you guys want to pull it up or if you've seen it enough. I think we have it's 2 minutes long. I think the first minute of it is prequel stuff. Or, not necessarily prequel stuff, but before this stuff. Oh, Rez, you got a question to ask me? Aren't you the one that started off with the question last week? My first question I've ever had on my live chat. Where I started half of a strip show for you. All right, well, I got to get so I can see myself now in here, which probably means, see this delay, takes a lot to get used to, but where did I get my shirt? Wasn't that you last week that asked me that? Now I got to wait 6 seconds for you to hear me, and then you have to reply, so it's going to be about 10 seconds. See, I just wish it would just go live and was just straight up live. But, all right, if that was your question, if you were the one that asked me, which I thought you were, I don't know who else it was. It's the show on here. Brand new shirt. Scruffy looking podcaster shirt. It just came out, or was put on TeePublic a week or two ago. And now I'm going to have to go back and see who it was that asked me that. But, yeah, they announced the shirt was on there. And on was it their last week or the week before? I don't even know. They announced that they did a new TeePublic shirt, and that's when they said Chris was going to be their new co-host. And while I was listening to that, I ordered the shirt up, and it came over the weekend, but I didn't know what it was, so it sat there in the bag. I thought it was something my girlfriend had ordered. It was just off of Amazon, so it came in my name. I didn't even think about the TeePublic bag that it was in. So I didn't open it up until today. It's been here for a couple of days, and I saw that, and I said, well, I know what I'm wearing for my live stream today. And then I was like, okay, and I was looking through my closet, and I was like, I need a shirt to wear with it. And this shirt used to be my father's. So my dad used to rock this back in the 70s. So this was kind of handed down for me, and doesn't quite fit me anymore. I don't even think I could button it, but I really don't button any of my shirts up unless I'm going somewhere nice. That's always a t-shirt, which I'd say 95% of the time, 99% of the time is a Star Wars t-shirt. I only have, I think, 2 t-shirts that aren't Star Wars t-shirts, and they're both Disney shirts. One's from The Lion King, and I don't even remember what the other one was. Oh yeah, but he didn't wear it it was his shirt, but I don't know how long he wore it because he got fat and couldn't fit into it anymore. Then it hung in his closet for probably 20 some years. And then I wore it probably the late 90s, early 2000s. And for another 10 years, it's been hanging in my closet because I haven't worn it. But You know, I'm just going to be on camera. I don't need to be anywhere looking fancy. So, oh, nobody dresses right anymore. I mean, you watch. I mean, forget about the movies, but the restaurant I first started working at in the mid '90s, people would come in there that were maybe a generation older than I was, or maybe a little bit more than me. They were probably in their probably I was in my late teens, early 20s. They were in their probably 60s. So, but they'd come in wearing full suits. But that was also, you know, a different time when if you were going out for dinner, you'd have a 7 o'clock reservation and you'd get to the bar at 6 o'clock and you'd have a couple of drinks beforehand and then you'd go in to eat and you'd eat for however long it was that it was, an hour or two to eat, a little less, a little longer. Then you go back to the bar and you have a cocktail. Um, but you also got in your car and drove home then, so that's different times. But yeah, I always like to dress up. Um, Before I got sick and semi-retired, because I say I'm retired, I just went back to school and took you know a job that was a huge pay cut, but it fits to my school schedule. Um, I used to love wearing a suit to go to work, and didn't matter what it was. It didn't have to be an expensive suit, but it just I feel good or I feel better about myself when I'm dressed up. I don't like looking like crap or wearing you know crappy clothes. Um, okay, anyways, see, I need people on here to keep me from my tangents. The Mandalorian. I am really psyched about that. I love the way that it started off um, with, it shows us that it's not a kid show. It has helmets on spikes, which I saw some debates. I think it was Steele's live show whether or not there was heads in the helmets that were on the spikes. Um, that's our. I don't. That doesn't really matter. But it's not really a kid show, um, and it doesn't really give too much away, but it gives a little bit of a storyline to let you know. See, I already saw this, or not any of this, but a whole nother. I was in the room for The Mandalorian, so when the footage cut off, um, they, I was able to see that 7 minutes of footage, which a lot of people didn't, unless they watched it on YouTube on crappy cameras. But so it's not a kid show. Hey, LA, how you doing? Thanks for joining us. Um, I mean, okay, so we're going to say there's no heads in the helmets, but there were at one point in time. Whether or not they were killed with their heads, they were killed and they were hung on there with their heads in them, or they were killed and they just put them on there um, on the spikes as a warning, kind of like they used to do back in the pirate days, but then they just hung the pirates and left them there. But anyways, you know what I'm trying to say. Let's see what else stuck out. IG-11. IG-11 came through. That's the same footage I saw in Celebration. That was really cool because from when we had IG-88, we're led to believe he's kind of like the Tin Man, walking around the way he would walk around, or I mean, I keep saying walk around. His actions would be kind of really stiff, and this one's showing he's not. He's, I mean, he can only move at his joints, but can't we all? And he seems to be well oiled, so that doesn't seem to be a problem with him. He's shooting behind him, shooting anywhere he wants to. So he's probably a pretty badass bounty hunter that we never thought of, or I thought of anyways, as the least. Probably just the most computing power. And then we see Gina Carano, who I've had a crush on for a couple of years before I even knew she was an MMA fighter. I saw her in some movie. She was just beating down some dudes. And did I mix those two up? I don't know. I meant IG 11 and IG 88 being two different ones, one from the old, one from the new. But yeah, so Gina Carano's in it. That's good. That's what else we got from it? Natasha Natasha tell us RFB, you pulled this name out yesterday when we were all trying to think of it. She's the one she was in Game of Thrones. She was I said in somebody's live chat yesterday, I said the dirty girl, and I think they took that the wrong way of me saying the dirty girl. I just meant the unbathed girl, not the dirty girl like that. But she's in this as a Twi'lek, so we're seeing some old characters or older species coming back, just newer versions or newer names. I should have probably looked it up, but I didn't. And all my books in my bookcase, the IG droid, is it like, they're all IG, and then 1 through however many. So IG 11 is just the same as IG 88. They're just a different one, so it has a different number designation for it. Kind of like R2D2. There's an R2D3 and R2D4. Or I don't know. Let's see. What else do we have in The Mandalorian? We saw Carl Weathers. Didn't get much out of him there. What we got in Celebration was that there was no bounties left that were worth any money, except for this one. But it was, I forget if they said 50 years old. Would that make sense? If this takes place, The Mandalorian takes place in between, I don't know, I forget. When does The Mandalorian take place? Kenobi's 8 years after Revenge of the Sith. Solo's 10 years after. Mandalorian's after Return of the Jedi. But I'm not sure how far after Return of the Jedi. anyways, I think he's told like the bounties um like 50 years old or whatever, like a long time back where we're all okay. So um if that's Return of the Jedi is roughly 40 years. Um, so yeah, we're told. I think he's told it's 50 years. It's 50 years old or somewhere right around that. Anyways, we've wasted enough time on that. Um, how are you supposed to find a bounty that's 50 years old and they don't have any information on it? They just know that 50 years ago the person was here or whatever. Trying to hunt down a 50-year-old whatever is going to be tough. Um, and he's just like, okay, I'll take it because the other ones won't even pay for his gas to get to wherever he's going. Um, I think that's going to be how it starts off, and then stuff we didn't see was we saw what looks to be like a standoff between the Mandalorian and what is now we know Moff. I forget his name. Um, the other bad guy in it. He always plays the bad guy roles. I can never remember. Somebody help me out here. See, that's why I need a co-star. I wish one of my puppies could talk to somebody other than me. But that standoff looked a little bit. We didn't see that. We have a lot more information about people because they released really short stories about people's names and what they were. We still don't know Werner Herzog. He's going to be in there. Don't know. Yes, sir. Too much Coca-Cola. But all right, what else am I missing from The Mandalorian? Um, well, I guess that's it for The Mandalorian. I really didn't do a lot of reading or research on anything because I guess that's what happens when so much information comes at you at once. I had posted or there was a meme that on Friday everyone, oh, Nick Nolte, yeah, but on Friday everybody was all about the Mandalorian. No one cared less about the Rise of Skywalker, and then the Rise of Skywalker happened. No one could care about the Mandalorian. No one cared. Everybody was talking on Thursday about the Resistance only being canceled, and it was just every day something else came out. No one, everything else kind of got pushed by the wayside. That was the other thing. Nick Nolte, we see him as well. The Ugnaught looks like Nick Nolte. Everybody's saying I kind of agree. There'd be no reason for them not to, and every reason for them to do it. Um, but it was rumored that the Mandalorian was going to go on his bounty, and something was going to happen with a baby, and then he was going to save the baby and carry the baby around with him, whatever. whether the two are related or not, there's a little girl hiding in the water with a woman, whether it's her mom or what have you. Maybe whatever happens, he ends up rescuing the little girl. Going back to what was that movie? What was the movie Natalie Portman was in? Um, I want to say The Natural, but that's baseball. Um, the Professional. Um, where he's a hitman and takes up the little girl and starts raising her. Maybe this is along the same thing, which then starts the speculation of, is it Sabine? Is it Sabine's mom? Um, you know, does this go back to Mandalorian anyways? Is it really a Mandalorian? Or is it like Boba Fett, who just had Mandalorian armor? Even though Jango Fett was from, um, even though he wasn't from Mandalore, he was from the Mandalore system, so he's still not Clandor. He's still not considered a Mandalorian. Um, so I don't know. It's just like I said earlier. Everything right now is just, we're back on crazy wild speculation. Well, I know it's not Boba Fett, but I was wondering if it's the same situation as Boba Fett, and he has Boba Fett's armor, because also spoilers that have come out is, as the show goes on, he's building his armor or building his arsenal, so he might only had one or two pieces of or equipment of the Mandalorian armor. Because remember, the Mandalore armor was built to fight Jedi, so that they could, um, you know, nobody else could fight Jedi. So the Mandalorians built this armor that everything on there was to either, was either in defense of something a Jedi could do, or in order to attack them. So is he slowly acquiring these things? Um, or did we just see him with the full suit and those rumors weren't true? It doesn't really matter. I'm sure I'm going to love this show. It's going to be great. I love all Star Wars. There hasn't been anything that's, I know I never read EU, so I can't get into EU because I don't know. But I've never read anything that, or watched anything that I didn't like. Some I like more than others, of course. That's the way everything's going to be. But I'm trying to get into the comics. I haven't started yet because it's just, the guys over at Broaxium got me something a little. Hey Parker, how you doing? The guys over at Broaxium told me what to start off with when I'm ready. They kind of, since they know me, they were able to gear what I should start reading towards me to get me involved in the comics. It's just, I don't know, I say a big endeavor to go because it's just so overwhelming. But anyways, okay, so that's The Mandalorian. Resistance, there's really not, the Resistance trailer looked really good. Not a lot of people like Resistance. It did start off kind of corny and as a kid show. I mean, it is meant as a kid show, but by the end of the season was going, full on, probably something that a lot of people would let their kids watch if it wasn't a Star Wars cartoon. And the way this next season looks is way better. I don't think it got canceled. I think that, and along with what, I don't know if it was Dave Filoni or whoever said that it's going to be that 2 years ago when they started season 2 or whatever it was, they knew it was only going to be 2 seasons. A lot of people don't believe that, but if it just keeps getting better and better, viewership will go up. They have no reason to lie about it. What are you going to do for a show? You know, with the Resistance, it's a show about resistance. The First Order is going to lose. The Resistance is going to win. What kind of show do you have after that? I don't know if I said last week or if we even knew about it last week, but I think it's going to be after, in the timeline, and after episode 9. I think we're going to have Kaz and whoever else come back that's still alive. They're going to go, their job is going to be to hunt down the rest of the First Order or the sympathizers. Something like that. I think it's going to be a spin-off or a continuation thereof. You just can't really call it the Resistance anymore. But who knows? I could be completely wrong. It could just be done. We got Dunzo on that one. That's about it, because I really don't remember too much about the Resistance trailer. It did look really good, though. Lots of action. We saw Kylo Ren. And we have Tam. Delilah. We have Tam. Looks like she's still with the First Order, and my dog's starting to get a little rambunctious out. I know there's noises outside. Yeah, Luke told us the rebellion's reborn, but that is going into 9, and hey, come here. Come here. Boo-boo, come here. You can't be barking. Come here. I'm trying to talk to my friends here, silly. Oh. You know, the rebellion's reborn, but there's no reason for a rebellion or a resistance or, you know, whatever. I mean, whatever you're going to call it, whatever they're calling themselves after episode 9. But that's enough for that for right now. I guess as it gets closer, we can probably get a little bit more into that. So, all right. So I'm going to pull up the. I'm going to pull up here. The Rise of Skywalker trailer, and I don't know how to use this thing. I'm going to turn the volume down so I don't get in trouble. Stop. I don't know what's there. Stop. But I'm skipping ahead. I'm skipping past all the old stuff, going to the new stuff. Okay, and we have at the end of it we see Vader. I am the Senate. Kylo Ren. Okay, we have. Oh, they kind of. Oh no, that's still old stuff. Old stuff is in episode 8, but Han Solo just died. BB-8, right there. They're on crate. Okay, yeah. So this is what I was saying. We have 40 seconds of new footage. Nothing's more than a couple seconds long, so we can't get too much of a story. There's no dialogue except the voiceover of Palpatine saying that, I forget what it said. Her journey's about, someone's journey is about to end. I don't really know who. Hey, Cyborg Man, thanks for joining us. Give me a second here. So, okay. So at a minute and 15, if you guys are following along or just so you know where I'm coming from, the Millennium Falcon is parked all the way in the back, behind the rocks on the right-hand side. You got Chewie, Finn, Poe, Rey, C-3PO. They walk over, and there's a big-ass party or fair or whatever going on. Whatever land they're on. Quick shot of Leia. And then we see a bunch of they're using shots of Leia from the last two. And I don't know how to get my Twitter notifications. Maybe if I turn Twitter off. That beeping sound that you hear once in a while is Twitter. So maybe if I turn Twitter off, that will stop those. I don't know. You have then ships from what look to be Imperial ships and Resistance ships coming in. That's where we have C-3PO coming up with his red eyes. With the ships, they're just ships right now. You don't really know. So to get into the speculation of the Sith troopers and the unknown regions and what we have, that's just still everything's just still wild speculation. Um, you know, how do they get so many Star Destroyers? I mean, they either built them or they had more than Empire probably had in one place, but if they're going for one final battle, or those are ships that came from the outer regions, those could be Sith troopers. I really don't really know. They built the dreadnought that was miles long. You know, if I didn't have so many damn Star Wars books and could see it right now, I'd go grab it and see and tell you how long or how big it was. But anyways, yeah, so we got what looks to be a bunch of ships coming in, and then we have a big laser coming down, shooting on the Earth, on a planet. Can't call it Earth. And that could be one of the spoilers that I'm not going to get into, because that goes along the lines of the outer region. Nope, that didn't get rid of my notifications. I don't know how to do that. I'm going to figure that out for my next one. But alright, anyways. Okay, we got Rey throwing her lightsaber, going through trees. And then, the next thing we see, it comes back to her. Now, did it come back to her? Or was it laying on the ground and she pulled it up and then threw it? It's all depends on how you cut the film that you're showing. Not everything here has to be in order, and the way that it went in, or the way it was filmed, or the way it's going to be in the movie. And mind you, I think JJ's first trailer for The Force Awakens, most of that trailer was not in the movie. But see, Anthony, how do we know she called it back? That could be what they want us to think. A lot of people didn't like the boomerang lightsaber helicopter things. Not that would have changed them from doing anything that people don't like, because why the hell do they have to listen to what people don't like? They're storytellers. If you don't like the story, you don't buy it. But one of the girls I worked with watched my video from last week, and she said, "Who are you yelling at?" And I said, "What are you talking about?" She said, "You just started yelling in the middle of it." And I said, "Oh, somebody made a comment. I started going off about the Phantom Menace." And yeah, she's like, "But nobody did it." I was like, "You don't understand. It's Star Wars." Okay, hang on. So, all right, go back and take a closer look. Okay. Yeah, now, yeah, she throws it, and then the next scene we see is it coming to her hand, but there's no way of us knowing that she's throwing it like a boomerang, and she's thrown it and then using the Force to pull it back. She could have used it to come into her hand and then thrown it. I'm just trying to get a different bunch of possibilities or aspects going on here. Okay, and then we go to Kylo walking up on. We saw this at Celebration. We saw this, not the footage, but the picture of what looks to be the Death Star. And everybody's, of course, analyzing the Death Star and what could be here and there, and the shape of this, and the guns, and the positions they're in, or whatever. I mean, we don't know. It could be It could be after the big fight that we saw with all the ships that were coming in. 20 of them were all piled up on top of each other out of the ocean or water, or whatever we have there. But so see, this is where a lot of people got excited for, because we know that there's now a laser sword fight between Rey and Kylo while they're walking up on this. But there's like 2 strikes that happen, which, don't get me wrong, if that's all it is, that's all it is. And, that's what we have to deal with. That's what we have to be happy with. It probably goes much longer. They don't want it to, but for the teaser, I would have liked to see a little bit more. But okay, here we go. We got Rey, as everyone's calling her Dark Rey now. I mean, right now, that's what I was saying. Everyone's trying to figure out and guess what it is. We don't have, it's going to be another one of those. I can't even talk. Your Snoke theory sucks, because everyone's going to come up with well, not as many, but it could be Kamino, in a cloning facility. That's where the Sith troopers come from. It could be whatever planet the Death Star landed on, and now you have to figure out, is it Death Star 1 or 2? The majority of people are saying that it's 2, which would probably be the best guess if Palpatine was caught, his essence was caught in there. You don't. It's like you're trying to build a theory off of a theory. At least with your Snoke theory sucks thing, with Snoke's theory, you were building a theory off of Snoke. What you thought who it could have been, whatever, and you kind of branched off with this main theory and went in a couple different ways on how it came about. This, when you're trying to figure out, now you have to guess, okay, is it a Death Star? If it's a Death Star, is it 1 or 2? Is it Kamino it was first talked about, or that I've heard before, on a cloning facility? That's how you get all of the Sith troopers. I think they purposely didn't show a Sith trooper in here because, like I was saying earlier, Cyborg, before you get in here, this trailer was geared towards a different one than I saw the first time at Celebration. That was geared towards diehards that went to Celebration, and not saying that you're not a diehard if you didn't go to Celebration. This is geared more towards the masses. That's why it started off with the majority of this, and I just say majority because it's more than half, was things that happened before what was the first 8 movies. So now you're speculating on your speculation on your speculation. So if one of your first things is wrong, everything is you're guessing and is wrong. You're going to lose. I think that was in. I think you said something about that yesterday, Earl Farmboy, about the reactor shaft. Was Palpatine's essence or spirit or Sithness or whatever we're going to call it, was that caught in the shaft or stayed in the shaft? Did he teach himself that how to cheat death? Which brings up something else. Somebody remind me before this is over. The Sith thing about cheating death. Does that mean you can save someone else from dying, or you can save yourself from dying? Yeah. we know, well, I say we know up until now, Sith can't be Force ghosts, but they can possess artifacts. So, or their essence can be in a holocron, or whatever it is. Yeah, exactly. That's where his essence was caught. So, his essence was caught there, and now that's why they're going there. They figure that out. Or did one of them figure out and the other one's chasing the other one there? Did they both figure out at the same time? It's a race who can get there first. I don't know. I haven't had enough time to process this today. I've been too busy doing real life things and not Star Wars things like I would choose to do if I had my choice. Um, you know, and when I watched it, I was completely underwhelmed. But my girlfriend was also still asleep because you guys know with the restaurant opening, she's working crazy long hours, and sometimes she gets home at 11 o'clock, sometimes she gets home at 6 o'clock. So I think I was asleep when she got home. I think I fell asleep about 4 or 5, and she got home after me. Um, so I'd slept for a couple hours and woke up, and I said, "Oh shit, I missed it." And nope, there was still plenty of time for me to watch it because it was about 7 in the morning when I woke up. So um, I had the volume down lower. So maybe if I had watched it full blast volume and and better, I would have um, liked it better. Um, Still, I've watched it probably 10 times. It doesn't, it's interesting. It's just it doesn't make my expectations any higher. But it raises a few good questions. The big one now that we're here, I think just about to the end, with Rey. We see Rey in a dark cloak and holding a red lightsaber. Um, so is I don't think Red had Red. I don't think Rey turned Sith. I think it was in yesterday's chat. I don't know which one it was in. Um, RFB, you were in both of them that I was in yesterday, or you were in 2 or 3 of them that I was in yesterday. Um, I had said that there wasn't enough. There's not enough time for her to turn bad, and then turn back, and then save the good guys. If it was a regular Star Wars movie and that was the plot of the movie, yeah, I think there'd be time. But for her to do a 180 and then do a full another 180 to come back for to the light, I really don't think that's possible time wise to fill in everything else we need to fill in if this is supposed to be the compilation of all 9 films. But I could be wrong. Maybe she has a vision, and the only way she can defeat the Emperor is to turn to the dark side. Now she wouldn't be a Sith, but I really don't think that's going to happen. I think it's a vision, whether it's her vision that she's having, or maybe it's Kylo Ren's vision, and that is what goes along the ways of the Bendemption that a lot of people are hoping for. Not really sure. Once again, we only have another 2 months to talk about this till the trailer comes out. And then again, who knows if what we see in the trailers actually made it onto the, into the film. It could just be all on the cutting room floor. But it makes a good trailer, so, doesn't really matter. Yeah, I mean, that's just my theory on Rey and her turning dark. I mean, I don't know if you've seen some of the people that dressed up as Dark Rey, or that's their cosplay. Molly Damon did it, and she looked amazing at it. You don't believe it's possible that he will be redeemed? You don't think it's possible, or you don't think that they'll do it? I don't know if that question made sense. What if? Oh yeah, that's right. Claire did do it. I saw that. That was a while back, though, I think. And I know Molly was going to do it again. I think on Sunday. What's today? Monday. So yesterday they did their Q and I don't know if they do their Q&A on Saturday or Sunday. Maybe they did it early, but she said that she was going to do it again now that this has come to fruition. And I think, yeah, I don't know. A couple other people have said some things, but I want to try and keep what I think separate from what I've heard from other people. I don't want to say what they've said, because I'd just be saying it. They weren't my ideas to start off with. Okay, is there anything else that I'm missing here? That's it for. Now we get the Star Wars, Rise of Skywalker. Yeah, so we got about, I think, about 30 seconds worth of footage on there, from that was from this movie, or from filmed from this movie. Okay, so there was something else I had to do. Not that. That's at the end. I got to figure out how to bring up during the live stream, how to bring up, like I was sitting here watching that teaser trailer or whatever, how to bring that up so you guys can watch it along with me, if there's a way for me to do it. But, okay, I gotta go see here. Alright, we talked about Resistance. We talked about Skywalker. We talked about Mandalorian. Um, I'm trying to see here. I think those were the big things that came out of D23 that we had to talk about today. Okay. Yeah, I know who you're talking about, Anthony. I'll hit him up. I mean, I know how to if I was recording this and then playing it later on, I would know how to put it on there. I think. Yeah, I know how to put it on there because I would just shrink it down and do it in a different window. But I actually don't even have to. I could actually just sit here and talk to you about it and not watch it and then put it on there. But yeah, it's different. It's a different. I can just use whatever program I want to record and then put it onto a different program, the file on a different program that does all different things. And I have one that's really simple that I don't like. I have one that I just use once or twice, which the one I don't like, you can record and just edit right off of. The one I used for my last two, I have to record and then with a different program, edit it and put it up. Then I have another one that's way, way too advanced for me that I can't even figure out how to do anything on. That Blue Bantha milk, they use it, but they do like documentary quality videos, and it took me 15 minutes to turn on my live stream today. So that just goes to show you the difference in where we are in computer skills and editing. So we got anything else for today before I do the drawing? Let me just check something first, because a lot of people have their subscriptions hidden for on YouTube, which I have no problem with. My subscriptions are hidden. Oh, that's what I was going to ask you guys. Have you seen my thumbnail or the little picture before? If you like, it was supposed to start at 7:05. If you got here at 7:04, you'd see a little picture on there. Like right now, I'm looking at it. It says the TooMedToo live stream, gives the date. It has a Chicken Walker and Resistance and okay. Because the one thing I have on there as a joke. Because Well, the person is a joke. That's why. But I had someone tell. I showed it to two people, and they just told me to be careful, because it could cause me trolls. And the other one, said just be careful with it, because everything that happened with the Dum Dums, the Dum Dum Menace, and stealing the 504 first logo, and they just completely stole that shit. Nothing about it. This is more of a satire, you know. Because, I mean, the dude's making money. You got to respect the hustle, just not the hustler, I guess. Which goes along with most of those people. We saw. I'm about to lose you guys. I think it's telling me I'm having poor strength. That's what happened last time, and then it quit. But yeah, when you saw that idiot Jeremy, the geeky gamer, he was at Celebration. He was talking to people. Star Wars was the best thing in his life. He wanted everyone to, know how much he loves Star Wars. And then he turns around and makes videos about how shitty it is. It's all, for him, it's just money. But, I mean, if you truly like someone or like something, selling out just to make money, I mean, I don't know, teach their own, whatever. I don't want to waste time with these assholes. So, see, it would be like the girl from work said, why did you start yelling? I start talking about it, I'd start going crazy. But it's telling me I have bad stream health. So I wonder, I don't need this open anymore. So I wonder if I get out of here, get rid of my internet, if that's going to do anything. But, okay. I have on here, I'll make sure everybody's on here that needs to be on here. Yep. Okay. So, the rules for the contest were that you had to be a subscriber, and you had to be an active subscriber. So, obviously, if I was friends with you, well, we don't even have to be friends, but you know what I'm saying. So you need to subscribe to me on YouTube. That's why I said earlier, let me check and make sure, because I said on Twitter, I said if anybody's following me that has their subscriptions hidden, let me know, because you don't show up or whatever. So anyone that's commented on a video since I've been back making them, or that I'm interact with on Twitter, or well, you're in here because anyone that's been in chats or made comments on my videos is automatically in here, if they are subscribers, or if I know them from Facebook or from Twitter that I know are subscribers. So you're both on it, but okay. Well, Anthony, I'm going to leave you on here. And if it is you, you will just be defaulted like a few other people that told me if they win, give it to the Kessel Toy Run. But, okay, so Anthony doesn't want it. So Anthony, I need you to pick a number between 1 and 26. I didn't include my family members either. And this is actually being sponsored by Galactic Pops. 26. 1 in 26. But yeah, this is being sponsored by Galactic Pops. Oh, I don't know what I did. I just lost everything here. $17 is Lego Builder. Lego Builder was on here last week. I know him from a Pop Discord that I'm in, even though I do not collect Funko Pops. I have one that should be here by 9 o'clock tonight. If it's not already here, that's why my dog might have been barking. But I got the RDS, so it was so hard for me not to order 4 of the Gremlins Funkos, because I think Gremlins was the first movie I remember seeing in the theater, and I was like, and I was like 6 years old, and my aunt had taken me and a bunch of my older cousins and sister, and they were all scared shitless of it, and I loved it. But Anthony, you got, yeah, it's 17. We already have a winner. It's Lego Builder on here. I don't know if you can see that or not. I won't be able to tell. You won't be able to read my handwriting anyways. Um, so I guess that does it for this week. Um, I guess we'll hold my origin story till next week, since we're already at almost a minute and 20. Well, yeah, last week I did Sizzle because it was a 35-minute video. Then we got cut off. Then we came back on. It was almost an hour. And then, I had some stuff I had to do because I really wasn't planning on going that long last week. And then this week we're at an hour and almost at an hour and 20. And I got some stuff I gotta do. Yep. The origin of TooMedToo. Because I've always been a Star Wars fan. But the origins of TooMedToo, me TooMedToo, not the character TooMedToo, are a little bit different. and a little bit funny. Well, I can tell you guys, I'll give you a little more. It has to do with the Making Star Wars family on the East Coast. Because, you know, you got the West Side, you got the Making Star Wars family on the West Coast, and you have the Making Star Wars family on the East Coast. Um, you know, and then you got a little bit spread out the rest of the country. Yes, origin story will be next week. As soon as we start. Well, a couple minutes into it. Um, but yeah, man. All right. Well, I guess that's going to do it for today. Thank you, everyone. Next week, definitely. Yeah, the MSW network. Um, you know, they have like the East Coast, the people that live in California. Um, they, so that's the West Coast family. And then you have um, the East Coast family and the Rogue One Army. Um, yeah. All right. So yeah. You know, the only time I'm not going to be here on Monday at 7 o'clock is if real life gets in the way. Um, or I can pick up an extra shift because then that's a whole shift of overtime. You know, I can't give that up. But then it'll probably be, I know you guys won't be able to catch it, but I'll probably do it when I come home just to have something put out there. Um, but yeah, all right. Everybody have a good day. I said good day. May the force be with you.